In this video, I want to show you how to use the pullover hoodie mockup. So if you open up the folder, you're going to have three files: a simple guide PDF, the front mockup, and the matching back mockup. So let's go ahead and just open up the front mockup here, and you're going to see this little tip screen. So if you look at your layers, we have a few main folders. The tips, which in order to use the mockup, all you have to do is hide this and you will see the mockup. Then you have a shading folder, a folder where you put all of your artwork, and then a folder for changing the colors of the hoodie. So rather than going one by one and showing you every little layer, I'm just going to give you three examples on using the mockup. I'm going to open up my little art folder here. And for the first one, I'm going to use this. So the way to add your art is there's a lot of ways. You can go and place it in here. You can copy and paste your art. But what I typically like to do is I will export my artwork as a PNG. So using this first one here, I'm just going to drag and drop it in. So you can see that I put my art into this art folder here. And so I just need to scale and resize this to what I want. And so all art you put in this folder, you can see there's a mask, will go underneath the drawstrings of the hoodie, but on top of the actual fabric. And the shading here above the artwork is what will help it look more realistic. It's going to give a little bit of the shadow and the highlight of the artwork to make it kind of look like it's actually printed on the garment. When you drop your art, all you want to do is you want to position it wherever you like. You can put it literally anywhere on this hoodie. You can put it on the sleeves, the pouch, here, straight here on the chest. But we'll get into more different placements here in a second. I've dropped in my art. I actually want this to be a different color. So I'm just going to open up the layer styles, go to color overlay, and I'm going to make this kind of a light yellow pastel-y Pantone. So I'm just going to pick this yellow one here. And then for the color, if we open up the colors folder, you're going to see you have all these different options here. But for this example, I'm not going to mess with those. This is just a simple add your artwork and change the color. So for the hoodie, I want it to be this forest green. So I'm going to show this layer here, but you can see it's still black, but that's because the black one up here is turned on. So if we turn that off, we will have the forest green hoodie. So all you have to do to change the color is hide or show the color you like, or up here, you could turn on the custom color. So if you double click the thumbnail, you can pick any color that you want if it's not listed here. I just have some of the basic colors just for quick mockups. So this looks good. And I actually want this to be on a transparent background. So if I'm going to put this up on my website, I don't want to have a big square white block around it. So I can just hide the background, and then I can go to File, Save As, and I will save as a PNG. So that is the first simple example of dropping in your artwork, changing the color of the hoodie. So for the next example, I want to show kind of a front and back tour t-shirt. So I know for the front, I'm going to need this front graphic. So I'm going to, again, throw this in here. Okay, and you can see I threw it into the color folder. So I'm just going to drag it back up into the art. I'm going to hide that old artwork and then resize this down to be on the chest. And then I want to have some sleeve art here on this left sleeve. So if I go back into my examples art, I want the sleeve art. Again, I'm going to drag and drop into the file. I'm going to shrink this down. Now to add sleeve art, all you have to do is position it on the sleeve. It's just as easy as that. There's no smart objects to mess with, so you're not going to get any weird errors. And I'm going to drop this here, scale it down and rotate it. Again, inside the art folder. Now for this one, I want it to be a heather gray hoodie. So I'm going to come down into the color options, and we have a tri-blend fabric and a heather fabric. So if I just turn this on, you can see it gets the heather effect. And I want this to be a dark gray heather hoodie. So I'm going to turn on the dark gray. And that looks good. So if I want this heather to be a little more drastic, you can just change the opacity of that. Now for the back, I want to have some tour dates. So if I go back into the mockup folder, open up the back mockup, hide the tips. Let's go ahead and change this to the heather fabric, dark gray. It looks a little too dark on the back here. So I can just lessen that a little bit. Going into the art So you can see we have two art folders here. So we have art on the hood and art under the hood. So we want to use this main folder here for under the hood. And I'll show you what that means here. When we go back to the artwork and grab the back art, drop it in, scale this down so you can see as it would realistically, the artwork gets hidden behind the hood here. So if you wanted to have something like, some text over here on the hood, you can add that onto the art on the hood folder here. But for this example, we just want a simple back graphic. So I'm going to bring it up a bit and position it right about there. All right, but we're still missing this sleeve graphic. So we can just come over here and I can just drag this up into this file. And I need to rotate it again to fit this side. Okay, so now we have a front graphic with sleeve art, dark heather gray, and a back graphic with the same sleeve art. So we can kind of go back and forth so you can see and compare. Back graphic with that same sleeve art. And again, I would hide the background, export these two images as a PNG, and I would be good to go. So for this last example, it's a little bit more of an advanced, more cut and sew piece. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the artwork that's in here. And first thing I want to do is just simply drag in the artwork I want to use. So it's this, just band name, their logo on the chest. But for the hoodie, I want it to have different colored sleeves. So it has a more cut and sew look. So, and that basically just means, the sleeves are different colors, the hood's a different color. It looks like you have different materials sewn together to be a custom hoodie. I actually want the artwork to be an embroidery. So I'm going to go in here and make the color completely black using like a black thread. Let's do a little bit up. A little tip here is that in the real world, nothing is ever truly pure black or pure white. So you always want to make it just a really dark black, maybe even like a hue of a different color, maybe sort of this darker purple. And you're just going to more realistic tone here. So I'm going to make this almost pure black. And then I'm going to do a bevel and emboss. And so my goal here is to make this look like it's embroidered on the chest. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to click OK. So now we have our artwork with the sort of beveled, embroidered effect. So going down into the color folder here, I would like the drawstrings to also be black. So we have a custom layer here. So you can change the color to, again, whatever you want. And this is just so you don't have to mess with the white or black. And then white and black. So we have the black drawstring. Now I do want heather on this, but only on the body of the hoodie. But first, let me change the sleeve colors. So you can see I have a sleeve color folder here that I will enable. And so you see you can change the colors of the right and left sleeve to whatever you want. But for this, I want them just to be black sleeves. So I will turn on the both sleeves layer. So now they are both black. Now coming up into the cut and sew folder, this is every piece of this hoodie broken down to its individual layer so you can change the color. So if I turn this on, you can see everything kind of pops on. So I want the hood to be black. Now I'm going to just use the same black that I would for anything else. So I'm going to just copy the exact black I'm using down here. I want the pouch to also be black, so I'll just copy the same black of the hood. Now I don't want that hem band or either of the cuffs to be a different color, so I'll just turn those off. Now for the heather, I'm going to open up this folder here. I only want the body to be heathered. So I'm going to turn off all of the heather fabric on the sleeves, the hood, and the pouch. So you can see these four pieces are just a simple black hoodie, and the body is a dark gray heather fabric. And I may actually want to increase the opacity of the heather fabric on the chest. And there you have it. So that is an example on customizing your artwork and just all of the different options here on just throwing in your art and how you can change the drawstrings using a tri-blend fabric if you want, the heather fabric, and how you can pick what areas have that texture. The cut and sew options that you can literally go through endless possibilities on what you can alter and change for the look you want. Maybe you want to color block look where everything is just a vibrant color. You can just play with the sleeve colors and of course the standard colors that are provided here. So that's just 3 different examples on how to use this. Hopefully that helps show you kind of in depth on how to use this mockup. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to direct message me on Creative Market or email me directly at mail@brentgalloway.com. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy.